Hello everyone and welcome to ProERP demo. ProERP is complete cloud-based and integrated ERP system. In this demo, we will see a brief overview of ProERP, various modules, and how it can be used to digitalize end-to-end business processes like procurement to payment or customer order to delivery and customer payment receipts, etc. So let's get started. As I said earlier, it's pure cloud-based system which you can access from any device, anywhere, any place, provided the users have appropriate access rights. The modules covered, primary modules covered in the ERP are production, inventory, purchase, sales, accounts, and there are many other modules like expense management, payroll, CRM, etc. We will cover these modules later on in detail videos. Let's get to the basics of it. So ProERP is a technology partner of Google Cloud, meaning we have extended the Google Cloud by building, by utilizing Google's underlying technologies and building this ERP system on Google Cloud native products. With this, what happens is this system is now pure cloud-based ERP system where you need not worry about backup servers. Even you need not worry about the upfront cost of all these things. There are various models by which customers can pay. In the relationship between Google and ProERP, Google takes care of servers, server maintenance, upgrades, patches, security, etc. Whereas we take care of customer relations, that includes giving demos, setting up their system, giving trainings, providing them regular supports, etc. Fine. So having understood the basics, let's move on to the real demo and let's see ProERP in action now. You can go to ProERP and click here for try ProERP. You will get register screen. Once you enter your basic details like business name, admin email address, username, password, your city and mobile number, you will automatically get an email with your credentials and in association with our sales team, you will be able to start using your trial account. Okay, so I already have registered one demo system on this. So I just go ahead and log into that system. Okay, so this is the demo system where I have all the details. Now, once we are into the system, once you log into the system, when first time you log in, you need to take care of few things. Few things like basic setup, like you will need to set up users who will use what are their access, right? For example, some users will only use sales module and CRM module, whereas other users will use only accounts module. So you can give that access. We will see that. Then we can set up some master configuration details like your warehouse. You can set up one or more warehouse, item master, item categories, etc. So in the basic setup, we will see user details, access rights, who can access what modules, etc. Then we will see the some other master setups like warehouse master, item master, category, stock units, etc. And then customer and supplier master. So let's move on to these basics. Okay, so once you log in, you have a setup tab which is visible to only administrator by default. Here you will, once you go to the more action and setup and you click on users, you will see the list of users. Of course, initially you will have only one user. I have a couple of users added here. You can add new users from here. Once user is added, you can control their access using this option, manage authorization. So in this case, I have selected Mr. Shrikant, and here I can give him access to accounting or take out access from accounting. So this is the way you can give access to all the modules, and the user whom I have given the access can see only authorized modules on the left hand side here. So as an admin, I can see all the modules right now, uh, but the actual user will see only the modules that he or she has access to. All right, so that's one. Next, we can go ahead and customize some basic details, like you can add your company logo, like it is visible on the left hand. Next, we have some master data setups to be seen. So we have, for example, item master. We go to store, then more actions here, and then if you click on item type master, you will see some predefined items by default available. You can create item one by one from here. So you create an item, click on new, you enter item name, item code, model number. If there is a barcode, you can even use barcodes in the system. It's already barcode enabled. If you have default purchase price, selling price on this item, you can use it. You can select unit of measure, how it is measured in kg or liter, etc., or pieces. You can also define the how this item is maintained, whether you want an automatic system generated batch ID created for the item when it's created in the system, or you want a manual batch ID. If you create an item with manual batch ID as option, you will have to enter the batch ID every time the item is coming into the system and going out of the system. So you'll choose from which batch ID you are shipping the material. Also, like most items are maintained in FIFO order, first in, first out. There's some items you can maintain by last in, last out as well. Then scrolling down, you can select one or more categories that this item belongs to. Of course, you see some default categories here, and you can select this is the raw material and of type electronics. So there are two types here I can select, and these types can be configured by yourself in the settings tab here. So you can add your categories as per your business requirement, and they will be available here. Okay, going down, you can add few details on item specifications. Uh, then what is the default GST rate on this item that you can predefine, so people need not worry about when they're creating purchase orders or invoices later on. Then you can also mark whether this item attracts TDS, and if so, how much. Okay, and you can also enter the default HSN code of that item. Also, you can indicate whether you want to maintain the quantity of this stock in this item in the stock. There are some service items that you create for which probably you don't want to maintain quantity, so you can uncheck this box. But for all stock material inventory items, you will have this checked here. Okay, so this is how you can create item master in the system. Okay. Of course, you can create items one by one using this, and you'll be able to see and edit those items later on. But in reality, if you have thousands of items, you will not create those one by one. You would like to upload those using Excel sheets. So we do have a facility to enter the data, item master data into Excel sheet and upload using that. So with that, you can upload 20 or 20,000 items in single shot using Excel sheet over here. We will not see that in this session. Probably we'll see in a separate video session how we can do that in details. Fine. So once we have an item master, and I already mentioned that while creating items, you select categories, unit of measures that can be configured here in stock settings. So if I go to stock settings, I see these unit of measures here. I can edit them, add new unit of measures from here. And same is the case with categories. So these were the categories that I created: finished product, electronic items, raw material, etc. So I can edit those. from here, or I can add my new categories as per my requirement. All right, so this was about item master and categories and unit configurations. You might have one or more warehouses, so you can create the warehouses here. So in the more action, again, you have option called warehouse master, where you can define one or more warehouses. It's very simple to create warehouse. You just say what is the warehouse name, whether it is used for production, raw material, or finished good. This is for some reporting purpose, and what is the address. Even if required, you can go ahead and give access to users by warehouse. So if you have two warehouse, only few people can see that warehouse, whereas they can't see the other warehouse. So once a warehouse and item masters are created, at any given point of time, you can come to current stock, and if you select a warehouse, say for example, I select Kathmandu warehouse here, and I will see all the items available at this moment of time in that warehouse here. Okay, so all the items. I can search item like this. Say for example, I type item as keyword, it would search and show all the items matching this category. If I go on ahead and type 02, so it will further filter on that and give me the right item. So this is the one way to filter and see your stock items. Even you can do it by category. Say if I go back and select packaging material only here and see filter, so it would show me only the packaging material filter in this. All right, so this is how you can see the current stock available at any given point of time uh, at any particular warehouse using current stock screen. Fine, we'll move on to the next master settings. So like any other system, you have a customer masters. So you can create customer masters here. And if you have seen it, item master, it's the same. You click on that, you see a list of existing customers created here. You can add new customer using plus button. And if required, you can upload, if you have large number of customers, initially you want to upload, you can upload them using Excel sheet directly. Same is the case with supplier. If I go to purchase module, I have supplier master in purchase. So this is the supplier master. I can see list of suppliers here. I can create new supplier. I can search suppliers like this. Say I type name here and I see Aditya Year Products Private Limited. I can edit that, and of course these are the basic fields: supplier name, supplier contact person details, here email details, supplier address details you can enter. Coming down, you can also add one or more GST registration for that supplier. Suppose this is from GST number. So this is the GST number of that supplier. So I can add multiple, if supplier supplies me from multiple states, I can add multiple GST reference numbers as well. So this is customer and supplier master. Again, you can create one by one, or you can upload using a bulk. Fine. So this completes the basic setup. We'll move on to the next topic. All right. Now, from here onwards, we would like to see the demo, not by feature, but by business process. By business process means people use ERP to track end-to-end things. And when we say end-to-end, in ERP term, they called procurement to payment process and everything in between. Let's start with the first process. So we'll say procurement to vendor payments process. How this can be integrated and used in ProERP. Okay, so again, we'll go through the detailed process first, and then we'll go to the ERP system and see one by one. So MRP, material requirement planning. Probably you want to do production for certain parts against one or more orders, or for a stocking purpose. So when you decide to do a production, you need to know the material requirement planning, how much material you already have. Suppose to manufacture a product, you might need n number of materials, raw materials, packaging materials, etc. You might have some of them in your store, you might have some of them in purchase process, you might have and then you may need to procure additional material. So that all process, material requirement planning process, how that happens, we'll see that. Then if something is need to be procured from outside, production department or a planning department will create purchase requisitions. So those purchase requisitions will go through approval, and then a purchase department will create one or more purchase order for one or more vendors against those requisitions. Then slowly material will start coming against purchase orders issued to your vendors. You will report those receipts as stock receipts in the system. That would automatically increase your stock as soon as a receipt is done. At the same time, supplier bill will come, you will report it into system, and that will become your payable. And once you pay it, you can report the payments done against those payable. So this will cover various modules. You can imagine this is probably done by production department, these two parts. They will do a material planning, they'll raise requisitions, approval will happen. This is done by production department. Purchase orders till follow up the material comes, negotiations, etc. will be done by the purchase department. When a material comes, it will be handled by inventory department, where a stock receipt will happen, quality check will happen, uh, and then you will do a stock receipts. Then again, accounts department will punch in those bills and they will become a payable. And whenever a payment is done, so this is done by accounts department. So if you see, this process involves multiple departments: production, purchase, inventory, and accounts department. Okay, so let's go to the ERP and see how it works. Right, so we have a production module. We'll start with this. Suppose we want to uh, do a certain item production. So in production module, we have one concept called as BOM. We'll start with that. So BOM is a bill of material where you define, in order to manufacture one product, how much raw material is required. So you can create n number of BOMs like other list pages or masters. You have a list of those available here. You can edit and see them, or you can create new BOM from here. So I'll select a sample product. I have a demo product with minimal number of items. So I have sample FG1 product. Yeah. So this is a BOM product, sample BOM, and then we define that in order to manufacture one quantity of this sample item, finished product, I need raw materials. So I define a category and then select materials. From here, say if I type what is required, it will show me all matching from the masters. And it will keep reducing like we do the search. So I can select the items from here. Then packaging material, I can select the item and I can put the quantities required against this. We do have a dynamic costing, but you can see specify what is the approximate cost required per item in this. You can also go down and say other overheads, like I have other manufacturing overhead. You can put say 20% of it, 10% of it, and that would give you the per product cost of production. This is the static costing. Of course, we also have ability to create dynamic costing. So at the, you might purchase different raw material at different prices. So we track that and give you the real-time cost of item when you do the production at real time. Fine. So we have this one product BOM. We will use that. Suppose I want to manufacture 1,000 quantity of this product. So what I do for that? So BOM is there. Then I need to go and create a production plan. So I'm creating a production plan, new production plan. Okay. I'll come down. you can also do production against sales orders or work orders. I'm skipping that part. I'm doing it manually. So sample product. I type in, I find a product. I want to do manufacture 3,000 quantity of this. And then I'm saying I want to start it on 29th, and my plan will run till 15th of July. So this is how, and I'll say this is a scheduled, because this plan is scheduled now. The moment I create a plan for that product and save it, what system does? Because remember earlier we have used a word for ProERP as a integrated ERP system. The meaning of integrated is that the production module is connected with purchase and inventory module. So it will go and find out how many items required in this product are already available in store. It can find out from the inventory module. It can also go and find out how many items are already in purchase. So what you do is you just save this plan in scheduled state, and system does the magic of calculating all that behind the scene. So if I click on stock requirement and refresh here, the system will have calculated all that. And look at this. In stock requirement, it is giving me all products information here, and what it says, how much we have stock in hand. So this was fetched from inventory module. So you can see these item 1 and 2 are there in stock in hand right now, but this is not there. How much required quantity for this plan? We have defined a BOM and the production quantity. From that we can prorate and find out how much quantity is required for this item. So 1200, and then for this papers and all 300, 3000, 12,000 and 3,000. Okay, so here you can find out this information. You might have a safety or minimum quantity defined that will appear here. And you can see here, we have this stock in hand, but I also have open purchase orders, which is of a quantity 8,000. I can click and see which are those purchase order, when they are coming, etc. For these, there are no purchase orders available. So considering your in-hand quantity, required quantity, safety quantity, in-purchase quantity, if you have another production plan or another material for which the same raw material is required, system will tell you, is there any other production plan which has already booked the quantity? So right now there is no other production plan, so booked quantity is not there. But considering all this, it will tell you how much effective quantity you have in hand that you can use for this production plan, this manufacturing plan. And considering that this will be the effective quantity and how much you will need to purchase. So for these 2 items, it is saying you need not purchase these items, but for last 3 items, it is saying you need to purchase those items. Okay, so this is how MRP is calculated and shown. Of course, this is a system information. You will do your own due diligence and then decide what to purchase. So what I will do for time being, as a production manager, I created a plan. I can create a purchase requisition on a single click. So I can convert this material requirement into purchase requisition. So, and that too, I have 2 options. You can ignore the calculation and say all the required quantity I should raise a purchase requisition for all required quantity. So I can say create PR with needed to purchase quantity and needed as per the requirement. So I'm going ahead and I'm saying as per required quantity. The moment I click on this, the system will create a purchase requisition. As a production manager or owner, I'm creating purchase requisition on a single click. It will link which production plan this is being created. You can choose what is the due date that you want material by. I'm saying I need material by 26th. All the material is copied here. Even if you can specify the material requirement date by line item, I'm just ignoring it. I'll have a single line item. All the material is copied. If required, you can add more specification, more specs can be added here. You can view all these details on the requisition. You come down and then you can save this as a draft. You can keep this requisition with yourself as long as you are not satisfied with the updated content. And when you are done, we can set up an approval process on this. But for time being, we don't have approval on this. We have an approval on purchase order. We'll see how approval works. But time being, I will approve it myself. So yes, it is asking me, do you really want to finalize? Because once it is approved, you cannot easily change it. There is a way, but there is a confirmation coming in here. So I said yes, proceed, and this got finalized now. Now what happens is the purchase department gets alert that such a requisition is approved by management or finalized, and they can see those alerts here. They can also see these alerts on their email if you configure it. So in email also they will see. So they will come to know. So fine. MRP happened. We created a purchase requisition. The planning job is done. Purchase requisition is sent to purchase department. Now it is their job to work with vendor. So they get alert. They will come here. Of course, they will have access to purchase module. If they click here and go to purchase requisitions, they will be able to see all approved purchase requisitions here. So this is the purchase requisition that was just created 2 minutes back. They can see it in PDF format. So this is the purchase requisition and purchase quantities coming up. And these are the items, and the specs if you add are available here. What they can do is they can open that purchase requisitions here, and there are many options available to them. One of the option is they can send inquiries to suppliers. Literally, they can pick up the items and send inquiries to supplier. They will select a supplier from the list, supplier master, and they can send these inquiries. They can send only 2 item inquiries to one supplier, another inquiry to another supplier, etc. So that is available. If they get a supplier quotation, they can enter the supplier quotations in this system. And once that is done, they will be able to find out the quotation comparison sheet, QCS details. So here, these are the items on requisitions. If you enter the quotations by supplier, you will get more columns. If for supplier 1, their prices, supplier 2, their prices. Even you can download this into Excel sheet and update your format. So this way you will be able to find out QCS. Of course, this is required only if the material is new. You need to reach out to multiple suppliers. So I'm skipping this part of inquiries, quotations, and QCS, and I'll directly convert it into purchase order. So as a purchase person, I did an inquiry, phone calls, or I already have predefined prices and suppliers. So I convert this purchase requisition as a purchase order. So if I click on to purchase, I see the list of existing purchase orders against this requisition. There is none. I just created a requisition. I'll convert it into purchase order on a single click again. So system will create a purchase order in draft mode. And if I go down, all the items and quantities are copied over here. If you have a predefined prices, they will come here. Like this item had a default price, so it is coming here. You can define the prices by suppliers. They will automatically come. Okay. So you can see there was a price and GST predefined, so it automatically comes up. If you set up your master data properly, then here probably you need not change anything in the line below. All you have to do is select the supplier. So I'm just selecting a supplier here. I'll select Protostar Consulting Services. If he is supplying from multiple states, you will see the states, their GST number, where we want billed. So we are getting bill at Maharashtra. And then accordingly GST will be uploaded. I don't have prices defined, so I'm putting the prices myself. Okay, so all right, so this is the amount, and there may be different GST rates. Just go ahead and update GST details on all of them. Okay, so this is the basic total. This is GST, and I have this total here. So I selected supplier, and I can create multiple purchase orders. but I'll create, for this demo purpose, I'll create only one purchase order. You can have a predefined multiple terms and conditions. So I have only one terms and conditions, but I can update it as required. The PO. I can save this document as draft now. So I have saved purchase order in draft mode. Now, I'm happy. I update the detail. I can preview how it looks like to the outside world. So this is the purchase order. This format is configurable. You can have your branding details above, letterhead. Of course, this is the default GST format where you have a supplier details, the GST detail, contact detail, purchase order number, purchase date, due date, delivery date, whatever, RGST details, bill to, you can specify different ship to address also on purchase order. Currently, we have not specified ship to address here, but if required, you can specify. Let's say same as bill to. Okay, and then all the items, HSN, quantities, prices, and you see the GST details here, CGST, IGST details, terms and conditions. All right, and this is just a PDF document. You can save and hand it over to supplier, print copy, or you can attach to your email and send it. So this is a draft mode right now. It's in draft mode. I have an approval defined on this. So you can see earlier I didn't get the submit button. I could finalize myself from here, but that option is not there because there is an approval defined on this. So let's see how approval works. So as a purchase person, I have completed purchase order and I want to send it for approval. Please review and approve. So this is my note to my approvers. Yes, send it. So I have sent it for approval. As usual, whoever are approvers, they can get alerts here as well as on the email. You can see the status of purchase order is now pending approval, and everything else is freezed here. I cannot update it now unless it is returned back for updates, etc. Also, I can see one more tab here called approval details. From here, I can see whom it has gone for approval. So on this purchase order, I have set up two approvals. As I said earlier, approval is totally optional. If you don't want it, you can remove and you can enter, punch in and finalize yourself. But in this case, there are two approvers, purchase manager and CMD. The purchase manager means Mr. Shrikant and CMD means Mr. Sonali. So here you can create roles and assign users to roles, and you can set up the approval as per your requirement. You can have one level, two level, or no level as per your requirement. We will see detailed approval process in a separate demo video. We'll not go into detail of that. So right now, I'm not going to log out and approve it. As an admin, I have access to everybody's approvals. There is an approval module. I'll click on all approval. Normal users will have only my approval access. So they can approve only what comes their way. As an approver, I can see the PDF, view PDF version, which is same as this. And then I can, if required, reassign to some other person. If required, I can see attachments done to that. Every module like quotation, requisition, purchase order can have attachments done. I can see those attachments. And finally, I'll just take a good path that I'm saying approved. Okay, I can send it back, reject it, or approve it. If I want correction, probably I send it back. So remember, we have two approvers here. The first level approval was purchase manager and second was CMD. So it is approved and now it has gone to CMD. Also, approval can be sent to next level based on the value in that. So purchase orders up to 10,000 will only get approved at level 1. Whereas more than 10,000 will go to level 2. That can be done. So I'm approving it now. So even I have approved it on behalf of CMD now. Purchase order must be finally approved. So it will be approved and finalized. Okay, now this approved purchase order will be taken PDF copy and sent to supplier. So that completes, I'm going back to our business process, that completes the flow till this part. So we did MRP, requisition, purchase orders are sent. So as per due date of this purchase order, material will come. So material will come on the gate. If required, you can make a gate entry here. of those items here, and then inventory person will come and click on store, and he will create a receipt against that purchase order. So now we are moving on to the next department. So we completed production department, purchase department, and now we are into inventory department. Here, the moment I click on stock receipt, I will see the list of existing stock receipts, and I can create a new stock receipt. So while creating a stock receipt, I have option that from which supplier it is coming. You can type the supplier detail, select supplier details, against what invoice, what purchase orders, which items are coming. I can do this. But again, I repeat my statement that this is an integrated system. So store inventory is linked with purchase modules, and I can automatically create this stock receipt based on this purchase order. So I have this 14.1 ending with purchase order here. So the moment I come here, I have something called as PO. This receipt is against this. So the moment I select this, system will create stock receipt automatically for me with a link back linking which PO, which purchase requisition, which production plan this is for, which supplier it was. Everything else is automatically completed, and you can see all the due quantity is copied as a receipt quantity here. Of course, some cases that what happens is instead of 3000 he might have sent 2000. Here you can change that. So you have an option. It is pre-populated for you, but you can make changes. Next time automatically the balance quantity will be updated. But if you have all the quantities received against this purchase order, that gets closed. So I'm not going to change anything. I'll just save. All I'll do is I'll select which warehouse I'm taking the material into. So I'm selecting Kathmandu warehouse here, and I'll just save as draft. And I'll finalize it myself. So before this, you would like to take a look at how much quantities we have in the Kathmandu warehouse. I'll just go back, select Kathmandu warehouse, and I'll just select item 1 for time being. So item 1 has this 510 as a quantity. Let me go and finalize. I won't see all items. I'm just showing one item in this demo. But of course, all items will be updated appropriately. So I'm again opening my stock receipt I created in draft mode against this purchase order, this quantities. Now I'll go ahead and finalize this. So again, it is saying me confirmation. Are you sure? Because it is going to update the inventories accordingly. I'm saying yes. Please go ahead and get this approved. So now this is finalized. You cannot make any changes in this. And if I go to my stock item 1, so 12,000 quantity should be added into that, and for all other items, of course. So I go here, I search my item 1, and you can see the earlier quantity was only 510. Now it's 12,510. Not only that, if you see the details of it, this is the total quantity of that item. But if I scroll down, I can see the batch ID 13th May batch ID was created, and this was the quantity pending from that batch ID. And today, that is 20th June, the demo that we are giving a minute back, we created this receipt, and now this is the quantity we got added. So we maintain the quantity that is being received in the batches, and this is the automatic batch ID. Remember, while creating an item, you decide whether system should maintain automatic batch ID or manual batch ID. So with this, we have a total quantity, and every batch ID you purchase at different prices. So you will get a moving average total cost, how much total cost you have against this. And batch wise also we maintain the quantity. Fine. So I have a stock receipt, and if I go to my purchase order, I will see my, of course, whenever you create a purchase orders for all the material, your stock receipt, stock requisition gets closed. When you create stock receipts, material is received for all the quantities against purchase order, that purchase order now gets closed. And you can see otherwise purchase order is still shown here like this. If you receive a material, it gets closed. Now, I also, when the material came, my supplier also sent me his invoice. So I can book that invoice as well. So I book the invoice in the system. So again, while booking an invoice, I click on supplier invoices, create new invoice. Again, I can create an invoice manually by looking at the hard copy and type everything manually. But if everything is okay, probably you will select against which purchase order the invoice is being created. So the moment I select the purchase order, complete supplier invoice gets pre-populated by agreed taxes and prices. You need not do anything else here. All you will do is enter his invoice number. Suppose his invoice number is 00 this, invoice date is today's date, and what is my agreement with him. So I have a 30 days payment term on receipt of goods. So automatically it is saying this invoice will become due on 20th of July. Okay, so I'm going down, and all I have to do is just select those due dates and the supplier bill number, save as a draft. And again, I think there is a approval on this. If there's no approval, I could have finalized myself. So I'll go ahead and send it for approval. Okay. So now it is pending approval. This is supplier bill, punched in, sent ahead. In approval, I'll approve it quickly. So this is the supplier's bill. Okay, I'm approving it on behalf of CMD as well. Once the supplier bill is approved, it becomes payable in the system. Okay, so supplier bill of this 2 lakh, around 2 lakh rupees is approved now. So that will automatically make entry into accounting system as payable. So I went to the accounting, payments, and list of payables. So you should see this supplier, Protostar Consulting Services, that amount as payable. Yeah, this is the amount which becomes payable, and it's total due. We have not paid anything against this bill, and due is on this date. Okay, so this is your payable list. You can see all the payables here. And let's take one more step ahead. So let me go back to the process once again. So this is my process. Now I did a stock receipt also, supplier bill is entered, and this became a payable in the accounts department, account payable. And you make payment time to time basis. Suppose you make a payment against this. Let me show that part, and it will complete the flow of payment. So this is my due, 2 lakh rupees. I can quickly make a payment against this. So I'll say record payment. So you do payment, suppose by NEFT, and I'm just recording it. So you did payment from your current account. You select your bank account. You paid from this supplier against this bill. If you want to pay additional bills, you can pick up all the bills due against that supplier, and you can pick up the bills from here. So I'll close, I'll just pay this bill, and suppose instead of 2 lakh, I'll just pay 1 lakh rupees against this bill. Just see NEFT reference number this. And I mark this as paid. So the moment I record that I have paid 1 lakh against that bill, your payable list will reflect this, that out of 2 lakh, I have paid almost 1 lakh rupees, and this is the due amount. Even if I go to the this supplier's account, this will be reflected. Let me go and show you supplier's ledger. So this supplier ledger will reflect that this is the total balance, of course, and this was the credit happened when his bill was booked, and this is the debit when the payment was done against that invoice here. So fine, let me go back and review the process. I think we have completed what we decided here. Procurement to vendor payment process, which involved MRP and requisition by production department, PO by purchase department, stock receipts by inventory department, and these bills by accounts department. So all departments are covered, and this is how it shows that you can implement end-to-end business process using ProERP in this way. This completes this process, but let's go on and see the next processes now. In this video, we are going to see inquiry to order from customer and the payment receipt process. So order to payment process typically we are going to see. So let's jump into ProERP and see how it all works. I go to the CRM module. Here you can see there are various links, and one of the link is inquiries link. So whenever you receive an inquiry, you can record this inquiry in the system in this fashion. So I see list of existing inquiries, and I can create new inquiry from here. All right. So see my first customer limited. This is the company name that I got inquiry from. You can select the source of inquiry. In this case, there are predefined data sources, but you can always control your data sources. You can go and change them. So we got the inquiry from, say, event show, and Mr. Ramesh Kumar, for example, is the contact person. If I have details of that person, I'll put number, his email address, designation, his department, etc. You can put brief information about inquiry. I think this is the minimum data that we can create while punching in the inquiry in the system, but you can go ahead and give more specific details like what are the product items. Remember, we have already created product items in earlier video. You type a couple of characters and it will show you the items. So this inquiry is for this item, 1200 quantity you can put. If required, you can add more description or specifications here in the inquiry. And this is the one item. If there is inquiry for multiple items, that you can go ahead and add multiple items in the inquiry for which. So I'll keep the one item right now. So this is items. These are all optional. Remember, you can put all communication details, address details, and other company information, etc. in this. So I'm going ahead and updating this inquiry. Just save. Okay. The moment I save the inquiry, I get an inquiry number to it. And you can see I also get additional tabs on this inquiry, like follow-ups. Suppose you get an inquiry and you do all the follow-ups. The follow-ups that you did or you want to do in future can be recorded here, and you get a reminder, alerts, and the list of follow-ups to be done in future or on a particular date here. So you can add the follow-ups on inquiry, like he asked us to send quotation by next Friday. Okay, so and then once I send a follow-up, say I want to send quotation to this guy on Monday, I can select the date and time here. And you can put more notes about the follow-up. You can put it here, and this is a scheduled follow-up to be done. Today is 19th, and say on Monday I have to do follow-up. I can put the follow-ups to be done. Once this follow-up is done, if you have next follow-up to be done on this, you can mark later on this as a done and closed, put notes, and you can create one more follow-up. So you can have a list of follow-ups done by different people or same person, but at different times for different reasons. So you have a history about all the communication happening with the inquiry. Now going ahead, you can attach some documents, etc. if required. Even we have an ability to capture your email communication and show it here automatically. Of course, you need to give access to your email system for that. That's another thing. So this is how you can create an inquiry, put basic details, do the follow-up, and this is my inquiry. This is the number of inquiry. This is configurable number. If I go back to the list of inquiries, this is my inquiry that I created for this. So this way you can have your list of inquiries. So your inquiry database can be digitalized and kept it here. So of course that's the first process in your sales process. But suppose now this inquiry, you get number of inquiries, but they all those inquiries don't qualify for further process, maybe for various reasons. But suppose it qualifies, then we have a process by which we convert it into a lead. So we have a two separate sections here, inquiries and leads. So I can convert this inquiry into a lead on a single click. It will ask me further detail in this case, that okay, this is a company name. Probably if it was not correct, you'll correct a proper company name here, Shivam. So it says private limited, so I can correct the company name. Contact name, I can verify all this, additional details. If I can put, say, if there is a valuation, suppose that inquiry probably is a good value, so I'm putting this is 4.5 lakh Indian rupees. You can put additional details like do they have budget, who is the authority, who is going to make decision on this, what is the need, it's immediate, up to 6 months, etc. All those details can be put up here. So requirement for, you can put a title here, and then I convert this inquiry into lead. You can see here on this inquiry page now that this inquiry is converted to lead, and you if you go to the lead section now, so lead is something which is more qualified inquiry, I can say, where you have additional details, and you can see this is our inquiry that I converted into lead. So I get a lead number also to this, who is working on that inquiry, what is the lead priority, currently we haven't assigned it, what stage it is, what is the valuation. So I can edit a lead here, and then probably you will see similar details on the lead, company name, contact name, but I can give the priorities here. So the priorities, I can say it's a hot lead. Also what stage it is. So you can define your stages as per your sales cycle. Some people have basic stages, some have advanced stages, and it's case to case basis. And literally you can configure this drop down as per your requirement, but these are the basic things available out of the box, like prospecting, evaluating, negotiating. So I can say straight away, fine, I have qualified the inquiry and we are negotiating with this guy. All the other details gets converted here. You also see bunt, so BA and means budget, authority, need, and timeline notes here. That can be updated, additional details. The rest, all the details will get copied automatically from there. All right. So on once I create a lead, so it's a lead is nothing but a more qualified version of inquiry, which you have solid details. There's a match that you can provide a service or goods, and uh, it's something which is a valid inquiry. Okay, here also you can see all the communication of previous follow-ups get copied, but you can keep doing the follow-ups on this send quotation. I can say, okay, I have to send the quotation on so and so date. More notes here. And you can update this follow up. If this was done, you can mark this as a closed. So this follow up is closed, this is pending. And at some point or the other, this lead will move to the next stage. We call it as a quotation stage. So you can see there's no quotation or offer done on this lead so far. So you can convert this lead into quotation now. So on a single click, if you hit this, it will bring you to the add quotation page. You can see all the details pre-filled here. Okay, go down product, and now you will put the value on this. Suppose I'm going to offer this. If there are additional service line items, cost, transport, etc., you can put that here. You can put payment note, terms and condition. You can have a predefined terms and conditions also if required. So this is the value. If required, you can select what would be the additional tax on that. So I'm selecting this. Just save quotation. So remember, I converted the lead into quotation, and the moment I saved the quotation, a lot of data is pre-filled for you. You can update. So in this case, I literally updated the price on it and the particular tax that's applicable. I can print and see how my quotation looks like in a PDF format. And yeah, so this is the letterhead that you can configure in your ERP, but this is the quotation that is looking like the customer quotation, details, date, validity, item, price, etc. And this is your quotation. Of course, you can add as much description as you want. Let me go down and add, you can literally add detailed payment terms. Payment terms will go here. Okay, and save. 1, 2, 3. If the payment terms are added, your other terms and conditions are added, those will be shown on your quotation automatically here. So, and this is a PDF document which you can save to your disk, send it on any format. You can WhatsApp them, you can print and send, you can email them. That's a simple PDF. Or if required, we have ability to email the quotation right from the system itself. You can predefine the quotation formats. The customer email will be picked up. That PDF will be attached here. You can have a format defined here and just hit the submit button, and you will be able to send the same quotation right via system. Fine. So we converted this to quotation. Quotation is gone. Not all the quotation that you send gets converted into customers. So that's why we so far we consider this customer as part of not your system. Meaning we don't create a customer ledger and all related records in system, because we are not sure whether it will convert to customer or not. So suppose now we get a customer order, they send us purchase order, and now they want to buy from us. So what we have ability to convert that Shivam services, which is part of CRM so far. It's not part of accounts or sales module, but we can convert this into customer now. Again, I hit the button, convert to customer. Here you can again correct anything, because now this is going to be added into customers. Probably I need detailed address of a person. Pune, I'll just put here Pune West, and it would search the address for me. But of course, you can put the detailed address here. Okay, so this is there. Ship to address is same as bill to address. Okay, so we have just now converted the account into customer. Let's see how it looks like. So I went to the sales module, more actions, and then customer master. Now we should see the record into customer master. Let's see that. Okay, yeah, here we go. This Shivam Services Private Limited is now part of Customer Master, and let's open and see how it looks like. So we have this Customer Master here, Ramesh Kumar, all the details, address details are there, and you can also see when it gets added into customer, it will have a ledger created in the accounting automatically. So let me go back and confirm that there is also a ledger in the accounts. So we converted that count into customer. There we go. So there is a ledger being created inside customer. Okay, fine. So Let's open the quotation now. Suppose we receive an order from this customer now, and we want to issue him invoice. So we already have a quotation. You can of course go to invoice and create an invoice from fresh, but we have a quotation. We can convert the quotation for that customer into invoice now. So you have option to create it. Say, let's say create invoice from this document. So we are converting our quotation into invoice. So it gives you everything, this customer and all the products and prices from the quotation will be copied over here. So this is the amount. So let's go and add few other details, like when is this due. Suppose it's due after 30 days. So it would be due on 19th of October. Okay, and also I'll go ahead and see the payment details are there. From here I have payment details. I'll just save this as a draft. So I converted quotation into invoice, and of course this is saved in draft mode. Now let's take a look at how invoice looks like. You can print the invoice in original format or print with duplicate, triplicate, etc. So let's see how invoice looks like for this customer. And remember, this is in draft mode. This is not yet finalized. So this is a original copy of invoice. We have a customer details here, address to address. So remember, while converting into customer, we added this address details, this invoice number, due date, GST details, item details, all the tax details, and payment information is there on the invoice. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and finalize this invoice. The moment I finalize the invoice, this will make entry into accounts as amount receivable. So this is marked as finalized. Now let's go to the accounts and see what effects it will have. So in accounts, if I go to the day book, it shows me all the entries related to this customer, receivable amounts, taxes, etc. Even let's go to payment receivable section, and we should see our record there. Look at this. This is due on 19th of October. This is the amount. All right. So this becomes a receivable amount from the customer. Even suppose if he has done any advance against this, you can record the payment. Suppose he pays you 50% of the amount, you can go ahead and say payment received. So you're recording a payment against this. Select the account. So I'm selecting current account, ICICI Bank. Out of this, I received 30,000 as advance amount. Okay, so that's there. Advance payment before delivery. Okay, I'll go down and mark this as paid. Fine. So this will mark, say, due amount is now only 33,000, and you can literally go and see the ledger of this customer. So I'm going to the ledger, search farming Shivam services, and see the ledger here. You can see this is the amount here. All right. So now, so this shows you the complete process from inquiry to sending quotation, converting quotation into invoice. Invoice becomes receivable, and then once you mark as amount received, it will record appropriately. Also in between, suppose against this invoice you have inventory, just in case you also maintain the physical inventory. Let's say in our case we have physical inventory, like warehouses are there. You can create a number of warehouses in your warehouse master, and suppose you want to do the delivery challan. So you literally can convert that invoice, or you can create delivery against that invoice. Let me go back and do it for you. So this is the invoice. We open the invoice. We have a shortcut or option to create delivery challan against this. And when we create that delivery challan, yeah, so we have, we call it as stock shipment. So I can click on this and it would immediately create in draft mode a shipment request. So you can say which warehouse that you're shipping from. Okay, so I'll select Bangalore warehouse to customer, which item. So all these details can be selected here. Of course, right now, this item, we don't have a stock in hand. Otherwise, the moment you select the warehouse, it shows the quantity of stock in hand. So let me, just for purpose of this demo, let me select an item which will have some quantities available. Item 1. So we don't have that also. Okay, so we have in this warehouse, we do have this quantity. So suppose I'm moving 1200 quantity out of this 8,310, and I'm just shipping this amount. You can put the price of whatever it was. So save as dropped, and I'm creating delivery challan. Remember, I created it from invoice. The moment I mark it as done, this will automatically adjust the stock levels from that particular warehouse. So let me go back and show you that transaction. So this item, you can see the DR got delivered from this warehouse, raw material warehouse. Quantity was this. Of course, the earlier quantity was 0. We have currently said allowed negative quantity, so it does. So 0 minus 1200 gives you this remaining, and because of this shipment. So I think this concludes how you can completely digitalize your process of sales, mainly order to payment receipt process, and starting from inquiry, getting inquiry, having records of inquiry, managing the follow-ups on that inquiry, converting that inquiry into a qualified lead. That lead, you can give additional information like valuation, etc., and then you get a sales funnel, etc. There are different reports that show you those sales funnel and all. Then that lead gets converted into quotations. Quotation becomes invoice. Invoice makes entry in accounting module which says receivable, and once received, you can mark the amount received records also. So this is how you can see CRM, sales, accounting, everything is managed automatically, and all these modules are integrated, including inventory if required. So I think this covers a process at high level. We are not going into detail, but I think this gives you an idea how you can automate your sales process with the help of ProERP. In the next videos, we'll go into other aspects of the ProERP. Stay tuned. Thank you very much for attending this demo.